Roseanne, here with Board Game Gate TV at Spiel 2014. I'm sitting here with Richard Sibel from History Games, and he's here to talk about the new game, Wir sind das Volk.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I should make a short introduction, or what do you want me to do?
Yeah, just to get into
So I'll give a short
introduction
introduction about the game. It's Wir sind das Volk. It's a game about West Germany against East Germany in the Cold War era. So from 1945 to 1989. And the basic goal for East Germany is to survive until 1989, so to do better than historically, then they will win. So East Germany can only win by destabilizing West Germany, can only win by destabilizing East Germany and making it collapse. That's the main victory conditions. There are other victory conditions as well, but that's the basic one. So how does the game play? You see that that's the setup. There are 3 unrest pieces, the blue one are unrest in each province. And if there are 4 unrest pieces in the province, then a mass protest breaks out. The first mass protest is marked with wir, that's German. If you want to play the English version, it's we. And the second one comes, it's R, the people. That was the main slogan of the 1989 demonstrators in East Germany. So when these 4 mass protests are here, then East Germany will collapse. But you check only at the end of a decade for that victory condition. The game is structured in 4 decades. For each decade we have 20 cards. Decade 1, 7 are laid out here, and then there's 1 special card which doesn't have a backside. So normally it's put here, but the camera doesn't show it, so we put it here for the moment. This special card can only be used by East Germany. And then each player is dealt 2 cards, and the other one are the draw deck, they will come later. And so what's missing in the setup yet is the industry. These pieces are factories. You put a factory for the beginning on Hamburg, and in Dortmund you recognize the irregular shape. Factory has a value, the number pointing northwards is the value of the factory. A factory on its own is just a simple 1. And East Germany has 1 in Berlin, and here in Bitterfeld a 1. So this is not the setup, so we can take it away. And now the game can start. As you see, there's a lot of mess, a lot of unrest on the board already. So both states are close to collapse, and both will have to work hard to get away from the unrest and not to collapse. Because of course East Germany will also win when only the West collapse, but that happens not so often in the game. So now we can start. A player can play one of his hand cards, or take a card here of the open display of 7 cards and do something with it. Let's say, normally you don't start with a hand card. Normally you start by picking, because I cannot take away the hand cards from you, but you can take a card. And let's say you take a red card, which is a very bad card for East Germany. So basically you can do 4 things with a card. The first thing is you use the value. A normal card has just a simple value, that's a 2. So you could do something with a 2. This card, however, has 2 values, a yellow one and a red one. If you use the value, it's a 4. If I use the value, I use the red one, it's a 1 for me.
So it's very good for you.
You could use the 4 and build 4 and get 4 build points. So you could build 1 factory here, another one. Now build with the second build point, infrastructure here. And when you connect 2 factories, both go down by 1. And so, and then the 3rd build point maybe here, and the 4th here, and then that's a 3-point factory, and that's a 2-point factory. Or you can use with the card, you could use the event. You see that cards, some cards have a yellow graphic, and some cards, they have a red graphic. That's a red card, that's a yellow card. Don't get confused by the color down there, it's just a graphic. It's a red or a yellow.
Actual photo, yes.
Yeah. So a yellow card can be played by the yellow player by West Germany. Instead of the number, he can play the event. So that means 4 unrest, these 4 fists, one is on unrest, 4 unrest into East Germany, and West Germany will decide where. So let's say 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. So we have 4 mass protests already. And this event was the big 1953 uprising. And here this arrow shift the socialist marker 1 to the left in favor for the West. Each plate card then is laid aside at the bottom of the board. I think we don't see it on one of the cameras yet. We need it later to calculate how high the flight from the Republic is and how hard the East economy will be hit. So that's all meant to play the card. And now we have 4 mass protests, but there's a secret weapon for the East. He has socialists. Here he started 2 socialists in the holding box. And whenever there's a mass protest, a socialist immediately starts to move into the province and remove an unrest. And so this mass protest is over, and maybe that one goes here. Mass protest is over, so only 2 mass protests are left. And now it's the East turn, and he can pick a card and do something. And so it goes alternating and alternating until the 7 cards are gone. Then the next 7 cards from the first decade are laid out here. When they are gone as well, then the decade ends, and we go through 10 steps of the decade end. One word for the special card. The East player, of course, both players can play a hand card or can pick a card from here and do it. The East player also can pick that card. And in the decade 1, that card is quite powerful in cleaning up and getting rid of the unrest pieces. I call for the Russian tanks as the East player, and then a lot of unrest will go away. So here in 2 provinces, reduce the unrest down to 3. So let's say an example, I will do that only if it's a real problem. Let's say it's like this. Then 1 province, here I remove 3. Here I remove 2. I have twice the symbol. The next symbol, I remove another unrest. Here I remove another unrest. I lose 1 prestige, but I get 1 more socialism. And then you see these 2 running men. In this phase of the flight from the Republic, I will be hit by one complete removal of industry. I explain the flight from the Republic now, so we need that in the camera. Okay, so all played cards of the decade are lined up here. So let's say that are all the cards which were played, and also this Russian tank card was played. Now the flight from the Republic is calculated in some ways, and I forgot something very, very important. Excuse me, I'm not well prepared. So with the cards you build up your industry, and then later you increase your living standards. Are these dark blue pieces, you put them into the provinces.
Which will also help.
Yeah, and they are your main weapon in destabilizing East Germany. Let's say a typical situation is like this. And so now we go to the flight from the Republic. So there's some factors which you need to calculate. The first one, count all the red running men on the plate cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 steps up. Yes, correct. Now we don't need that cards anymore. And they are discarded. Then the East player could play an event with a police power icon, and then it's a police power card, and he will put it in front of it and can use it later to get rid of unrest. But it's not good if you suppress your people too much, then they don't like it and run away. So for each red symbol of the police power,
It moves
1 step up. Then the maximum living standard, the best province with living standard of the West, they have 5 ones, so the maximum level is now a 1. For this level, 1 step up, so a 2 level would be 2 steps, a 3 level a 3, and so on. And now the minimum of the Eastern living standard they have 3 ones and 3 zeros, so in this example 0 down, nothing, then is there any mass protest in the east? No matter how many, 1 or 4, just if there are mass protests 1 step up, if there are any in the west 1 step down. There aren't any, so we have a flights of the Republic of 3. That means 3 build points of industry in the east are dismantled because the people running away are not the alcoholics, but the well-educated one.
Yeah.
So the industry is hit, and you have to dismantle 3 points, which you just built before. Then, do you see that here?
Yeah.
Okay. Then the next step is the prestige track. We have to, on the prestige track marker, tells you what to do. It means here, make one east factory run down. A rundown factory is the same like a normal factory, but always 1 less in value. So if I make a 1 rundown, it's a 0. So we have industry in East Berlin, but it's just producing old stuff which is not interesting for anybody. If it would be, let's say, in that, then the east and the west could inflict 1 unrest to the east, and if it's here, then the east gets a bonus. So our prestige is important. Next step is Western currency. At that time, East Germany had problems in paying on the world markets because they had no dollars. They had their money and they couldn't convert it to hard money. So they had very difficulties in Western currencies. In the game, that's modeled that you have to pay for each living standard the East has. He has to pay 1 Western currency. The West had a hard D-mark. It was no problem. They could pay on the world market. The East could not. So only the East suffers this problem. 1, 2, 3. They need 3 Western currencies. Let's say the marker is here. Then they get 2 from the track. So they need 1. 1 is left what they need. And this third one, they will look how many they get from exports by comparing their industry with the West industry. Let's say this comparison results in 2 more Western currency, then everything's fine. The 1 bonus, it's no bonus for them. The state always eats up all money he has. But if you lack the Western currency, for each lacking Western currency unit, 1 factory becomes run down. So that's not good for the East. If you have too many rundown factories. Next step is this police power cards. For each card you have to pay 1 build point of industry. You have to dismantle it. Next step is you check whether your living standard you have is still, if you can hold it. To check whether you can hold a living standard, you
look at your power plants.
Look at the factories in the provinces. In order to speed up play, I don't make it correct with the infrastructures. I just put some values in there. So the best factory in a province, here, that's a 2. So in this province, up to 2 living standards can exist. There's 1, that's okay. 1, 1, that's okay. 0 for Berlin. Here it's Berlin, not okay. So you lose that 1. Imagine that there are even 3 living standards in East Berlin. That's a 0. Then you lose all 3. So I always drop down to that level.
And so we go through all these
Yes,
at the end
yes,
of each turn
yes,
and check our.
Yeah, and then these next 2 steps are the most important one. You make comparisons of living standard, and let's say here 2 living standard. These 2 against 1 will put 1 unrest here, or you could attack here, then put 2 unrest here. So you build up your living standard, and there you attack weapon. Here are the police power cards remove 1 unrest. Here you get new socialists from the track, and here you check are all these 4 markers on the board or not. Then if yes, you lose. If not, start the next decade. And if no losers after the end of the decade, after the 4th decade, East wins. If he collapses before, West wins.
And how long does the game typically take to play?
It takes about 2.5 hours, depending on the individual scale of analysis.
It's a nice heavy game.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And it's a 2-player game.
It's a 2-player game, yes.
Great. Thank you so much. That was Wir sind das Volk.